I've taken the time to look at all of these things, and I'm still working on them.
Ladies and gentlemen,
you are now about to witness
the journey that is the Life Choices podcast.
Yeah! Looking inside to heal and grow. Figuring out that the mistakes in your life, the bad things that you hold on to, should actually be looked at as opportunities, not character flaws. We all want to become better at life. We all want to become a better version of ourselves, but it's not always 100% understood on how to do that. What we talk about regularly on this show is looking inside oneself, figuring out what it is that you're holding on to from your past or your current lot in life, and realizing that all of these things that you may not be happy with, the regular thoughts that come in your head that create a weight, that create stress, anxiety, that create the heart racing, pay attention to what they are, and you'll notice that they're usually the same past experiences that you had that create those emotions of what you had back then. If you want to live now, live today, live better, we need to stop living in our past. And I believe in order to do that is that you must confront what it is that had happened to you, for you, what you may have done in the situation, and mentally move on from it. When I talk about looking inside yourself, I've taken the time. I'm well into my 40s. I have come to the conclusion that there is a positive to take from any situation that I feel may have been given me prolonged emotions of anxiety, stress, discomfort, heart racing emotion in a negative way. I can look back into my life as an example and talk about how I could blame my parents for the fact that I changed schools every 2 years. I could hold a grudge to them. I could be angry. I could have a chip on my shoulder because every 2 years I got pulled out of one school after I knew people and had to go make new friends. There was even high school. My first high school I went to, my parents pulled me out of there and were able to get me to go to a different high school because they thought my friends were a bad influence. When in retrospect, when I looked inside myself, it was I who was the bad influence. I was the one that was breaking into cars. I was the one that was sneaking out of the house. I was the one that was smoking cigarettes, smoking drugs, doing other drugs, drinking, breaking curfew. I was the one that was influencing the people I hung out with to do the same things I was. But my parents didn't see it that way because I didn't seem like that at home. I could have blamed them for that emotion that I had gone through in life, and how I've always talked on here about how I've always been looking for my tribe, always trying to find that group of people that I have similar things with because I never grew up with the same group of people. However, as I've grown up and I've done this podcast and talked to other people who are parents, and I've gotten to know my parents while my father was alive and while my mom still is alive, and talking to them about things that had happened when I was younger, understanding that for anyone out there that is like 20 and younger that still lives at home, we don't realize at that age what our parents are going through, because our parents are people too. And for me, when I was 15, my dad was younger than I am now, and that is still pretty young. But you don't realize that there are things going on in their lives, like worrying about paying the rent or the mortgage for the house you live in, making sure that your kids are happy and safe, food on the table, clothes on their back. There's a crazy amount of things that an adult has to take care of. And we, as a child, just we don't see it, we don't understand it. Now that I do understand that, I don't blame my parents for anything. I don't blame anyone, anything for my lot in life. I take the responsibility of the understanding that I'm exactly where I am now because of me, because I've taken the time over my 47 years to look inside myself, find those people, places, things that have affected me in such a way that when a thought of it comes up, it bothers me in some way. It creates a feeling of anxiety or a weight on my chest or a heart racing when I'm going to sleep and my heart starts racing because of a past thought of something I had experienced. I've taken the time to look at all of these things and I'm still working on them. This is a whole life. You don't just heal in one day. When you start divulging or when you start diving into healing yourself and taking account and taking responsibility for everything that's happened in your life, it takes a lot of effort and a lot of time to get over all these different aspects of healing. One thing I've always talked about that I haven't done yet is I would love to go to a therapist. I'm going to go to a therapist one day to find out the scientific reasons why this is the way it is. But getting back to the whole thing as a child, 20 and under, if you're at home with your parents still, understand that they are going through things that you may not understand right now. That later in life, you're going to understand what it's like to have to depend on having a revenue stream. If you get married and have children, you have to figure out how to keep them happy, fed, clothed, sheltered. There's a lot of things that you need to realize what's happening in your life has a great deal to do with the way you are, the way you're acting, reacting, responding, and learning. For those of you that are older and that you have all this stuff inside of you, because after 20, 30, 40, 50 years of living, you've built a lot of different things up in your head and in your body. And there's a lot of things that we hold on to. And some people go through more severe things in life that they need more medical, professional, certified people to help them with. When it comes to living and practicing new ways to better yourself and to let go of the things that are holding you back, I am more than happy to have conversations with all of you in the community. All my email addresses are down below. If you want to discuss anything that's on your mind or find out more about experiences that I've gone through or want to share experiences with me about your life and want advice or just someone to listen to what you got going on, you can reach out to me. If we get to the point through email or DMs, social media contact, we can always exchange WhatsApp phone number and we could have a phone call about these sort of things as well if you're inclined to. I'm always looking to have a conversation because there's so much I want to heal within myself that I haven't yet gotten to, but I also would love to help all of you out there by sharing my experiences that I've gone through. One big thing that I've always been trying to heal from is the approval of my father. I've talked about this, a few times on the show, and I've mentioned my dad numerous times. If I can end up being half the man that he was, then I can say I've done a pretty good job, while walking on this rock that's floating through infinite space. But I can admit to you, as a young man, which I think most children want, is the approval of a or both parents. I always got it from my mother. My mother was very loving and very helpful and very supportive of when I was a young person, being an artistic person, um, and helping me with that. But I really did always try to get the approval of my father because he was a certain type of person. And I was, as much as similar to him, I was also very different. And that's just another thing that I've been working on, that I'm still working on. And my father's been, passed on 8 years ago, more than 8 years ago. And I did get his approval. I absolutely did in time in my life, many times from 25 and up. He told me he was proud of me and very happy of the things I had created. But that's just another thing inside my own life, my own heart that I had to work through. There's a lot of things I had to take accountability for, like, the fights I got into in school. Was it was all of it not my doing? Was I just being picked on because I was different and skinny and couldn't defend myself back then? I don't know. Was it part of it me antagonizing those people at the same time because I was a smartass? I'm not 100% sure on all of the whys, but I've taken the time to look at all the things that I've done and realize that I can learn from them. I can share with other people that I did this and this, but I'm able to look back at it now and realize that that is not anything that dictates who I am today or who I will be tomorrow. That's a part of my life from a long time ago that I can look back at as not a mistake, but a learning lesson. It's an opportunity to see the positive in the situation. Talking about the journey of healing oneself, if you want to become a better version of you, it's across the board stated you must let go of the old you to become the new you. If you stay the same person, if you act the same way every day, take the same road every day, the results are going to be the same every day. So when you take the time, when you decide that you want change in your life, that you want to become a better version, it's going to take effort. You're going to need to sit down and maybe write out all the situations that cause, or memories that cause, an unsettling feeling, an emotion of weighted chest, anxiety, stress, discomfort. Write them all out. Have them there that you can then go back and read them over and try to figure out what was your part in those situations. Forgive yourself. Like, literally take the time to sit there, look at a situation that you remember that causes a bad emotion inside you. And if you're a reason why it happened, like a fight with a sibling, a comment you made to a parent, forgive yourself for it. You can also forgive the people that may have harmed you in your past without them knowing it. They don't need to know necessarily. You can just sit there within yourself, look at that situation that you wrote down, and say to them, I forgive you. I let go of the energy I've given you. I let go of the power I've given you for the stuff that you did to me at that time. I set you free from any obligation of ill will on yourself, as well as I let go of any ill will I carry to myself because of that situation. It is uplifting. It is weights taken off of yourself when you actually get to the point where you can forgive yourself for certain attributes and traits that you have that you don't want anymore. And when you're able to step away from them and let go of them, you now become that better version of yourself. You become the person that you've always wanted to be. You will be able to walk around daily with less weight on your shoulder. Again, we're all about practices here. Once you start doing these practices of diving in and looking inside yourself, writing things down about it, letting go of things, forgiving people, forgiving yourself, when new emotions come up, like I said, 47 years of experiences. Have I touched on every single one of them? No. Have things popped up that I've forgotten about that are now new? Yes, because the body kind of wants to bring you back to that every now and again, and you need to learn how to be okay with that. So whenever something in my past comes up through my brain, I take it as a grateful situation that I get another opportunity to not react to it, but respond to it in a manner in which I get to look at the situation and figure out, okay, well, what about that bothered me? What about that did I have a part of? And then I do what I do with my practices to let go of it, to forgive myself, to forgive the people involved in order for me to live happier, to live lighter, to just be able to share with other people my experience and know that I'm okay with it all. And I'm never going to be 1,000% healed because there's always things, people, places, and things that are going to come up in your life, in the moment that you're living, that may be negative, that may cause you to react in a way that you don't want to. Most of us can admit that there's things that happen that after the fact, when you go home, you're like, really wish I didn't respond to that person like that. Ooh, really wish I didn't send that text. I didn't think before I sent that. But this is, again, it's not a mistake. It's an opportunity. It's an ability to look at that and say, okay, I'm not a perfect human, and that's okay. But what could I have done in that situation that might have been a better person? What would a better person have done in that moment? And that's how you work on yourself regularly. That's how you get to that better person. I am forever going to be working on it. I have done most of the work through inner self work. I am looking forward to finding I'm looking forward to finding a therapist that I can sit down with to dive deeper into the things that I'm not yet attacked, to find out what the whole construct with inside my own brain and the reasons why I still live on the edge on certain aspects of life. I tend to put myself there regularly still because I'm not perfect, but I want to work on these things, and I'm going to do them as often as I can throughout my life in order to be that shining light, that positive energy for other people. And like I said, more than happy to talk to any of you about this sort of stuff. If you want to leave a comment about how these conversations make you feel, please do. I'll respond. If you want to reach out to me and have a deeper conversation about any of these topics, please do. I look forward to having so many more of these conversations with you throughout the years. I'm so grateful and so happy that all of you in my community come back each and every week and watch all of our episodes. I look forward to seeing you all back here again next week, Tuesday at 2 p.m., right here on the Life Choices podcast. Much love, everybody.
Ladies and gentlemen.
You are now about
The Journey, Life Choices podcast.